Holla. Hey guys, so welcome to our kind of impromptu talking circle. We were supposed to have our workshop today, but I wanted to put a little pause button because I was not only sensing, a lot of things going on with all the women in the groups, and I just didn't want, as I said, I didn't want this workshop to be totally pressurized, where you're under the clock and it's something you have to do, and you got to get your homework done. I really want this to be a pleasant and exciting and fun process. So I didn't want all this weight or any of this pressure of things that catching up. And I knew a lot of women had some catching up to do. So I thought, well, let's pause it, because not only do we have women who have some catching up to do, but we also have, a ton of new women. I think we are just about to across 300 women in the Facebook group. So we've just had a lot of new faces coming through that we want to make sure you guys are getting this information, that you're not going to miss out, because not only the segments that have happened, but also the two segments that are left to happen are really powerful and instrumental in your business and your success moving forward. So tonight I really wanted to talk about what has already happened in the New Year workshop, because 2016 has left us. We are now into 2017. We are into this new phase, this new chapter, this evolution, this process, this journey that we're all on together. So, of course, I'm a big believer in reflection, and often we go through exercises, or we have hangouts, or we have masterminds, and then it just seems to get lost. Even the breakthroughs that happen, they disintegrate into all of this craziness that's happening in our present moment. So I really find the power in taking the time to reflect on what was powerful about that exercise for me. What did I release, and how do I feel now? And these kind of questions get us into this reflection state of, okay, it's not just an assignment. It's not just an exercise that you do. It's not just a burning of a piece of paper. What does it really mean to me? And what did I learn from it, and how have I changed? So I have to go to my girl Nikki, because she sent me a message and she's like, "You've got to see my ritual release that you did." Did you guys do it on New Year's Eve or something, or New Year's Day, or?
It was early New Year's Eve. It was like 9:30 a.m. Saturday morning.
So you got it done just in the nick of time. You were like, I'm getting this done before that clock strikes midnight. So yeah, tell us, Nikki, a little bit about the release process for you, because some people that are watching this didn't go through the workshop, or they haven't gone through that assignment yet, and just giving them a little perspective on what it meant for you. And hey, there's your partner in crime, Lisa B, just in time.
She's just jumping on. Well, hello, ladies. Good to see everybody. The release ceremony for me was like a weight off my shoulders. It was something that I didn't know that I needed. But when I got to writing, what I didn't believe and the doubts and everything I had, it was just, it didn't stop. Lisa and I were talking, and I'm just steady going. You'll see my head going down, because I didn't know I had so much disbelief that I was holding. There was no way that I was going to take those same negative, nasty thoughts into 2017. But we have been talking about goals and how to get to them. And I have been saying I thought writing down stuff was corny, but that's why I was still holding it. So this was one of the first times that I started writing down. And when I tell you that pen was flowing and the sage was going, and me and Lisa it was Saturday morning, and the release of it, it was weird, because it was something I experienced with Angel in another ceremony that we did. It was having a hard time for my paper to burn. And what Angel had made me understand was, if you're having a hard time for your paper to burn, that's either something that you don't want to let go of, or that's either something that you're asking for that you don't believe that you deserve. So I said, okay, cool. I'm going to keep that burning, while me and Lisa started to talk. And I started talking about what the garbage in 2016 I wanted to let go of. I started talking about the trash that was getting redeveloped. I started talking about the negative things I wanted to get rid of. And the craziest thing is, you'll see in that video, that paper started burning more and more on its own. It was just faster and faster, and the smoke started getting going, and the tears were flowing. And I'm telling you, that ritual right there put something in me. And it also lit a fire in me to get into 2017 clean. that ritual was something I've never done before. And it just was a release. It was a cleansing for me of a lot of things I didn't know I was holding that was weighing me down and that meant me no good. And it was amazing.
Awesome. Okay, so I haven't watched it yet, but now I have to. So I'm pretty sure you guys posted the replay in the Facebook group, right? So anybody can go check it out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the cool thing is that these videos, you can watch other people's replays within the group because we have this safe zone where, you know, okay, I can post a crazy crying ugly face video and, you know, not care that these women are going to see this because I know that they can pull strength from it. Hey Bridget, good to see you. How are you? Awesome. So Nikki, I want you to think about what was, and I'm going to come back to you. So just think about this, sit on this one. What was the one thing that you feel that you did release from 2016? What was, like, if you had to pick one thing, and I know you wrote down a big list, but what was the one thing that really stands out to you that you feel is gone? You feel that ceremony allowed you to release it. Now I'm going to come back to that. Now I do want to talk to Stephanie. I know, Stephanie, you guys did your ritual release too, right? You did your burning of the paper. So what was your experience like with it? How did it feel for you?
Well, for me, because a couple of days before I did the inner child release, and I have to say that one was more powerful. And when it came down to, like, did the inner child release, then Christmas came around, and there was some event. We went to see Beauty and the Beast, the musical, and I went back as a kid. I was there watching, and I almost tears in my eyes, and on the seat of and I was so much in the play. It was incredible. I felt like I was 5 years old. Like the inner child just came out. So the releasing of for 2016 to 17, yes, it was memorable. The thing for me was really to be able to just let go of the adult and just let the inner child out, you know. And for my, like what last week we said, that for my goals, it's to honor and to respect. Going back to just the honoring and respecting, and like being like, you know. And
I love that, because it's not only, you know, not only at a play or something that you connect with. Like, we can kind of all relate to Beauty and the Beast. We grew up, we saw Belle in her gold dress and the flower and the rose, and, you know, so that really does.
The lights dancing with the forks.
Yeah. So, like, really being able to be present in that moment and take in all of the enjoyment and the fun without thinking, oh, you know, like, oh, I have to be a certain way, or I have to act a certain way, or I'm in public, or I'm a grown up, or whatever, and just letting that go. Even in that specific circumstance, now it's like you can feel that. Now you've felt that. It's like, why would I go back? Why would I ever put a cap on that, no matter what? You know, no matter what I'm doing, whether it's eating a chili cheese dog at a baseball game or whatever it is, you know, letting yourself experience that without any inhibitions, just like a child would.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's powerful stuff. So that's awesome. I'm really glad that you got that out of it. So Lisa, I know that you have. What? Joanne Famine? I know that you have gone through the ritual release a few times, but how has the experience been a little bit different as being, you know, on the coach's side, you know, helping facilitate people like Nikki who have never done it before, and then seeing that shift happen? And hello, Joanne Famine in the house. What's up?
Is that Joanne Famine? Oh my God. Crazy. That's a good question. I didn't see that one coming, but let me think
I like to throw her for a loop, right? She was expecting this.
No, that's a good question. I have gone through that a couple times. In fact, interestingly enough, today I was having some YouTube drama, and I was going back through a lot of my videos, and I found this awesome video that I made in my San Francisco backyard of the burn, the what if purge burn, like that moment. And I was really excited. I watched the whole thing because I was like, yeah, because I kind of went back in that moment of me doing my own what if, and then I also had done it with Elena and Anna, and then it kind of guided Nikki, but I also did do it again. But yeah, it was I don't know, like, I'm not sure. I have to think about it for a second. It was kind of it felt really natural, I guess. And when I was looking back at the video, I felt, and I also looked back at the video because I was processing it, and that was where I could more soak it in. And it was cool. Like, I loved seeing both Nikki and my facial expressions. I think that was really interesting to me. I was watching Nikki's face having this pure joyous moment, and I think that was really good. That was just perfect. Like, I just was kind of watching faces, I think, more, and I think that's what kind of got me going. And it was good. It was a really good experience all around, I guess. I'm having kind of a crazy day today. I got like stung by jellyfish, and my phone is like having a total water freak out. And then I had this YouTube drama that kind of really threw me because I don't know. Anyway.
But if it had never happened, you would have never stumbled upon your What If Purge video, right? So
this is true, but I also am looking at it in this way, in this little bit more metaphysical way, in that I did all this purging, and then I'm sure Angel needs to hear this, because like maybe everything wasn't burned and purged, and then like the last 24 hours, I feel like, well, I'm very in tune with the moon being in void of course. And it just so happens that these last 24 to 36 hours, it's in a void of course in Pisces, Angel, and I'm a Pisces. So all of a sudden, like, this new year flow is happening, everything's feeling groovy, good vibes from Nikki and all this stuff. And then like today, I was freaking like, I just wanted to go for a beach walk. That's all I wanted to do. And it kind of domino affected into this trifecta of annoying shit happening. And I'm like trying to recover. I'm a little emotional. I'm like, I got my period. So it's like, it's all kind of like, and I'm missing everybody, and they all went to San Francisco. So I'm a little bit hyper, like sensitive, like fucking feeling kind of ganged up upon about the universe. And then I saw this movie, and it was saying like, well, you know, if you poke the bear, like sometimes you poke the bear of good shit and the bad shit has to like reverse and has to, I don't know, some energy reflux. So I'm feeling like the energy reflux today. I don't even know what. But this jellyfish burn was crazy, and it just spiraled off into not good land. So I'm here to get good vibes back today. Get through this point, of course. Angel, help me here.
And it's so funny that you bring that up, because I was talking about this on the radio, on my radio show today, about how you know, we're on January 3rd, and a lot of us set these goals, set these intentions. We did this purging, we did this releasing, we're ready to get into it. And then you're here on the 3rd, and there's just this block. Like, you just feel like, so many people feel like a failure, you know? And I know that I have been putting off, seriously been putting off this new clean eating regimen that's happening in my house that Toby and I have been procrastinating on so bad. It's like, oh, it's B's birthday today. It can't be today. We got to start tomorrow, right? You can't start with birthday cake that's, you know, clean. It just doesn't really work that way. So yeah, we've been putting all these excuses in our head on why we haven't started our juicing, and why we are still, you know, eating pizza, and like, well, it's B's favorite food. She loves pizza, you know. So we get into these moments where we're like, dang. And we fall back, and it's very tempting to be very harsh on ourselves and be like, oh man, this is what you do every year. This is why you never succeed. This is why you always get fat again. This is why you're destined to be, you know, a New Year's resolution quitter the rest of your life. And we start to go down this path of just blame and self-criticism. So right here, just remember that at any moment, no matter what happened, no matter if we're on January 15th and you still haven't started, you can hit the reset button at any moment, every single second. And you don't have to wait till the morning. You don't have to say, okay, I'm going to start tomorrow. You can start right now. Do something that will keep you in line. I was talking about these different techniques that you can do to stay on track with your goals. And one of them was like actually people who set micro goals. So if you have this goal to, the study that they did was 122 people that wanted to quit smoking. And they put half of these people on a plan for 2 weeks to do something simple, whether it was eliminate sugary foods or even just squeeze one of those gripper things twice a day. So once in the morning, they would squeeze it for a minute. At night, they would squeeze it for a minute. So they would do that for 2 weeks before they even got close to thinking about quitting smoking. And it was the people that had preconditioned themselves over those 2 weeks. I think it was like 27% of them actually followed through on quitting smoking, whereas 12% of the people that didn't follow through. So you can see the difference, right? So when we can create these little micro commitments that lead to our goals, thinking about behaviors as well. So rather than saying like, I want to lose 10 pounds, think about the behaviors that create that result. So I want to get to the gym 3 times this week. I'm going to pack my lunch every day, so no more eating out at lunch. And I'm going to take the stairs instead of the elevator. So these are behavioral goals that actually lead to the result, right? But our mind is much more likely to keep them and to focus on them than to let them go. So anyways, that was just a totally mind fart that happened there. But Angel, I want to talk to you because you do these all the time. I think you're like burning stuff constantly in her house. She's like purge, burn, purge, burn, purge, burn. So share this experience. How was this experience different for you?
Yeah, when did I first learn about burning? 2 years ago, when I first learned about sage smudging and got the benefit out of it, I get addicted to it. I think so. As much as I can, I do this every full moon, because full moon is really the way of releasing, and you let that energy of the full moon, which is the female energy, which is also us, to help us with all those releasing. But also from one of my mentors before, I learned about the purging and releasing, decluttering. So I follow a system of 5 things every weekend. Each member of my family will take 5 things, whatever that is, to get rid of, whether it's for donation, for throwing away, or for recycling. 5 things every weekend. And the first time I heard about that, I said, does that really work? Only 5 things? I can go through like 50 things at one time every weekend. And I realized that by doing that regularly, it does help. And those things, which are stagnant energy, when you don't use them, especially if it's over 5 months or 5 years, you never touch them, it's just sitting there, you're looking at it, you might be enjoying looking at it, or every time you look at that object, it keeps on telling you this, oh, I gotta get rid of that. Oh, that thing, somebody gave that to me, I don't really like it. Or that person that you maybe had a disagreement or something, and that gift is still there, you should get it out already. And to me, once I get rid of those things, and whatever's in my house right now reflects my vision, because someone told me that our house should be a reflection of our vision board. Whatever you want to happen in your life, whatever you want to bring in your life, should be what's in your house. My husband bought they're gorgeous paintings from the Philippines. And they're like big sizes and had it framed. The frame is more expensive because it's framed here in Canada, and they're all over the house. I love them all, but they don't reflect our vision and what we want to happen in our lives and what we want to bring in. So I told my husband, I'm sorry, but can we just give away these frames, these paintings? And he's like, but don't you like them? I said, I know, they're lovely, they're really good. We can probably sell them really expensive if you want to. I can sell them, but they don't reflect what we want to happen in our lives. And most of the time, those paintings that you have in your house, if they don't reflect what you want, is what's happening in your house. So I give them away. Each of our friends and our doctor got one of them, and they're like, really? You're giving this away? This probably costs like $1,000 or $3,000. I said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't go.
It is not serving me. It is not serving me.
And funny enough, ever since we gave away those, more things came in that reflects what we want to happen in our lives, both financial and business and relationship wise. There are some friends that we thought are our friends that left our lives, and there's new ones, amazing ones that replace those. And business wise, business happened really, it's like, wow, this is happening because of the things that we get rid of. So to me, decluttering and just asking yourself if it's serving your purpose is very powerful. So that's what I learned from it.
Yeah, the decluttering was the segment that you led on session 1 was really just eye-opening for me on some of the things that were cluttering up my life. And one of the biggest things that is like constantly almost attached to me was my phone and how disheveled my phone was. And it's usually because I put it in the washing machine or I lose it and I have to get a new one. So I'm like getting these new phones and then I'm like, oh, I can't organize all my apps again. I don't want to do that all again. So it just stays a mess. And I was like the girl with 5 pages of apps and different things that you're like trying to scroll through, finding your mail, your Gmail, and like it was just terrible. So I spent a whole day just organizing, putting everything into folders, putting everything into like one main screen, and I was just like, this just feels good. I think it was like the first time in my life that my email said 0. The first time, I don't even remember that ever happening when I didn't have 52,000 unread emails. But they're all gone. I'm like, Layla, you haven't read them. You're not going to. You aren't going to. It's just let them go. They're not important. You haven't checked them. You're not going to. So yeah, definitely. Yay for open emails. So hey, ladies, I see some new faces. So before we keep going, some people haven't been through the workshop or haven't done the ritual releases or haven't gone through any of this stuff. So they're kind of like totally brand new, fresh. And coming into the 2017, I really wanted to give them a perspective on what we do here in the Women's Connection, why some of these exercises are so important, even though, you know, you might think, like Nikki said, like writing stuff down, like, oh my God, you want me to write in a journal every day? You want me to share my gratitude? You want, like, all this stuff. It can seem maybe even cheesy, but seeing the effects that it's having on, you know, women just like you or totally different from you, but seeing these leaps and bounds and these incredible breakthroughs that they're having and moving into this year. So I want you guys to think about, if you're thinking about 2016 and what really stopped you. What stopped you from hitting your goals? What stopped you from hitting some of those goals that you set out for yourself? What was it? And that could be something that you can look at releasing. So we did a full exercise on releasing all of these limiting beliefs, all of this doubt, all of the fear that had been holding us back in 2016. Now, what if I had to point out any of maybe I'll let you guys speak for yourself, but what was one of the biggest things that you felt that you released through that exercise? And I'm not going to pick anybody. I'm just going to put it out there. Go. What was one of the biggest things that you released?
The biggest thing, I'll jump in and say it. One of my biggest things that I released is the not worthy of the reception that I'm giving, that nobody will relate, that nobody understands, that I don't have something to tell people. I know I just named about 5 things, but I promise they're all like one. All of those were like wrapped up. I just felt like nobody wants to hear what I have to say. And I felt like I had a lot to say, but where do I start? I don't care anymore. I was about to do something just a minute ago. And I was like, man, but if I do this and I mess it up, let me call somebody else in here. And you know what? I was like, if I mess it up, I promise you they'll still eat it. They're still going to take it so I didn't even care. I did it myself and it actually came out great. I eliminated the what if it doesn't work. And I started implementing, you know what if it does work? This could be crazy. That was the biggest thing I had. Like, what if it doesn't? I just had to let that go. And what if it does now? That's where I am right now. What if it does?
Well, we were doing that, right? We were doing that in the release. We were like flipping it.
Yeah.
And I was doing that in both of them. And I like that idea again of like flipping it into that, well, that like putting stuff out, because, you know, what if it does get a good or bad reception, you know? And that's kind of what happened with my YouTube thing today. It was, and all of those good or bad things are, you know, they're for a reason. They're for a reason.
Exactly. They definitely are. And I think that, you know, hearing you say that, Nikki, it's really interesting to hear what people feel, you know, what people's fears are. Because when I watch Nikki on live stream, or when I watch her videos, it's like everyone can relate. I've got white chicks, I've got black chicks, I've got straight chicks all messaging me saying, who is this girl? She, you know, I relate to her. She's speaking to me. She reminds me of my old friend from high school. She reminds me of somebody I knew. She reminds me, you know, you're connecting so much. So, and it just kind of like puts it into perspective that sometimes we just can't see what's real, right? We can't see that because we are so stuck in what's happened to us in the past, or so stuck in what somebody said to us once, and, you know, so stuck in our own head that we can't actually see what's really happening. Because what's really happening is these massive connections, these, you know, just uber relations that people just can relate to your story, even if they've never lost their hair, even if they've never grown up in the hood. They, you know, they still can relate to you. So it's really, I feel like it's a gift that you have that is just being enhanced this year and really starting to blossom. So there's some reality for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, ladies.
So I thought I saw Joan unmute her mic. So I think she was ready to speak. So Joan, what do you feel like something that you've released in 2000?
Well, actually, this is all new to me, doing this. And so as I was saying to right directly basically to Angel, because I was like really was like excited about the purge and release. And I think that's my major issue, is I have so much stuff that I just hold on to. And you know, I don't have any kids here. I don't have you know, I don't have to worry about any of that. So it's like, what am I waiting for? What is my problem? So I did my first list and I burned it. It was like so like freeing, because I got rid of so much stuff and I cannot wait to like do it again. And I finally, I got the stage. I'm going to do that ceremony thing. And I'm like, it seems weird because it's new to me, I guess. But I'm like, I'm excited because I'm so ready to just go and do my whole house and to, you know, get rid of all the negativity. And I know for me it sounds crazy, but I'm talking to you guys and it's like you can totally relate. Like, this is okay. It's nothing, you know, it's totally fine. And this is what I need, because I haven't done it. I've never done it in my life ever. And so it just feels good and I cannot wait to do it. And so, yeah, just going through stuff and thinking, God, going through that list and checking them off. And then, you know, I did the whole thing and burned it. And then, you know, I washed my hands and I was like, wow. And it was done. I did it. I did it New Year's Eve. And I just like, that's it, you know, and I can't wait to do it again. Like, I have a list of things and it just felt so good to just get rid of stuff and not hold on to it. I mean, you know, it felt freeing. It felt liberating. I don't know what the word. And I'm just excited to go through the ceremony. So I had to Google it because I wasn't sure, even though I saw you guys do it the first time, you know, that I came here, and I'm like, okay, there's going to be something to it because it definitely works, you know, and everyone is, you just so much, there's so much, I don't want to say happy, I don't know, you're happy and you just, you know, nothing, you know, is getting to you. I'm like, there's got to be something that I'm stuck behind that I have to release, that I have to get rid of. So that is to me a new step, and it's an exciting step. It's a scary step, but you know, I'm going to go through my house and do that and get rid of all the negativity stuff, because I got a lot of things like, you know, I know Angel was saying about stuff that's stuck in furniture, you know, things that negativity that, and I have 2 pieces of furniture that I can't get rid of, but it's been with me pretty much my whole life. And I can't get rid of it because it's heavy, but it's been with me through good, bad, you know. So I don't know how to get rid of the negativity on that. You know, so that's one. Huh?
The same thing. You can smudge your furniture. You can smudge your clothing. The whole process is essentially the same. It's that whole release, right? And it really is. You know, as much as it seems like a physical burning of paper or a physical smoke touching something, it really is that mental act of releasing and what we associate with it and the power behind it. So as the women were saying in the chat, if you read that chat, Joan, they're saying how, you know, you sound lighter, you sound less stressed, you know, you just seem happier. And I'm actually noticing that from quite a few of you, whereas sometimes I don't mean to pick on Joe, but sometimes I look at Joe and I'm like, oh, she just looks sad. But you know, I've been watching you, and because I'm a little bit of a people stalker, and I watch people what they're doing when you don't know I'm watching you. So, and you know, just seeing your smiles and seeing this lightness that even if you're not perfect, even if you didn't knock out the first 3 days of the year perfectly, you're still in a state of inner peace and happiness where you're connected with yourself. You know that you can control this. You know that you've got this. You know that, you know, you hold the power, right?
You know, I want to say one thing to you, Layla. You know, I was feeling like I knew that we were doing this tonight. This was just telling you how much I'm drawn to you ladies, like how much I'm supposed to be here. Because usually I watch, you know, certain shows on TV, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking it's before 9 o'clock and I really want to watch this show. And I'm like, okay, the ladies are starting. So that's why I was late. I'm like, 9:15. I'm like, okay, I need to be there, you know? So I was like drawn here, and I just turned down the TV, walked out, turned on the Zoom. I said, that's it, I'm here. And you know what? I'm so glad I am. So anyway, yeah.
That's awesome. Yay, Joan. I love that. And it was actually like a physical drawing. That's awesome. Okay, who's next? What's one thing that you have released from 2016 that was holding you back that you're pumped about? You want to share? You want to tell us?
I will go next.
Alrighty. Setse in the house.
Hey, Nikki. How are you? What's up, girl? Wow, it was, I went on this purging for my office. And what I found,
I saw that. I was a little bit jealous of how clean your office looked.
I mean, I did the linen closet. Today I did my last desk drawer. And the biggest thing that came up for me while I was doing it was how much I am not who I was before breast cancer. There were things that when you're going through that, like I would just shove stuff in the closet because I couldn't look at, you know, I was getting bills and I was getting just all these just stuff. Even some of the in the linen closet, like some of the linens I had, it's just not me anymore. And I don't even, and some of you who knew me before all that know I even had a different name. Like I changed my name in this process. So I was like, some of this stuff just isn't. So it was almost like I really started releasing Alicia. Like, you know, she served me and it was great. And since then, I can now sit down at my desk and say, okay, today, you know, I've got my whiteboard. This is what I'm going to get done on Monday, and actually get it done without being distracted and nervous. And, you know, can I really do this? Like all of this, having gone through that process made me focus, made me understand I can do so much more than I ever thought I could do. And so I just went through just throwing shit away. Like, this doesn't even feel like me anymore. I don't like this color anymore. I don't like the way this pattern. It's got to go. And it feels so good. And so I'm like at this place where every room in my house is going to get done before spring. Because kind of like what Angel said, my house has got to reflect who I am today. And going through that very dark period, coming out of it now, it's like, whoa, like everything just looks different, feels different, tastes different. And if it doesn't line up with that, it irritates me to have it around me, because it's just not who I am today. And so I'm excited to see how I'm gonna be able to show up in my business differently because of who I am today that I wasn't before. So
awesome. I love it. And I can totally relate to that office purging and, just shoving things in drawers and places because you don't want to deal with it, or you don't want to think about it yet, or, I'll deal with that later. I'll just shove that in there, and then gets lost, or, I meant to contact that person, or all these like business cards that we keep of people that we've met that we never even reach out to, like all these things that just really, what are they serving us? Really, it's just reminding you of all the things that you haven't done, or that you should do, or creating more pressure and stress on you every time you open that drawer, right? You're like, oh my God, I have to deal with this. So yeah, I totally can see how that would be liberating and freeing. And also, this transformation that you've made from Alicia to Sabira, and, stepping into who you really truly are, and seeing all, like, even things like linen patterns and things that you don't like. I can really relate to that. And I am thinking about my house right now, and right now there are about 2,000 Legos on the floor, and I told Bea to clean them up before she went to bed, but that didn't happen. So they're still up there all over the living room. But today she actually stepped on one herself and was like, I'm like, that is exactly what I've been trying to tell you, that we have to put these back because it hurts when you step on them. But yeah, just, and the one thing that I feel like I kind of gain from that is because I have this, I don't know, obsessive compulsive thing where, I like things to be neat and tidy, and, the feng shui. But when you have little babies, it's like that doesn't exist all the time. And so just being okay today, this morning, it was actually interesting because usually I say to myself, I can't meditate in a messy house. I can't meditate when toys are all around me. And I've been telling myself this so that, I wake up in the morning and I clean everything, and then I meditate, and it feels better. But today I thought, no, this is not the ritual that I want to start. I don't want to start my day with dishes. I want to start my day connecting with myself, connecting with my mind and my body. This is the routine that I'm creating. So today I meditated in a messy house, and afterwards I was talking to Toby about it, and I thought, you know what? It actually felt good at the end. I was like, oh, I can do that. I can relax myself even with chaos around me, even when Legos are everywhere. I can still close my mind off to all of that and connect.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's this interesting thing where you have to sort of learn to compartmentalize. Well, this is what I try and do, is to compartmentalize the chaos, because I'm similar to you in that, like, I can't leave the kitchen until even maybe the sink is beautiful, when I'm done. And then, or I remember I couldn't really get into my office, go down into my office until the kitchen was clean. The thought of having dirty dishes in my sink before I was ready to kind of go downstairs and plug in really bothered me. And it's so OCD, it's so ridiculous. But why do we put those restrictions on ourselves? It's this sort of order to the chaos. That's how I see it. So if you kind of allow yourself, like with the kids, because this is what I did. I hated kids stuff in the living room too. And I was just like, if I can just close the door and be okay with that, and then do that meditative and know that it's behind the door, and you gotta like, the Legos though, man, I had this thing where it was joyous to vacuum them. And I felt like it was like the bad, you know, the bad mom, fun to be a bad mom. I'd be like, I'm coming in, right? Like coming in, I'm giving you like 20 minutes right now. Whatever's left is fair game. And when they get older, you can play like, you know, chicken with them and stuff.
I love that.
Joyous vacuum.
Yeah, that's really true. And
but you know, even for my office and my studio, because I have this very distinct separation between my art studio and my work office environment. Very distinct, and I have photo stuff, so that's like clean, and I like to be messy. So I have to make sure they're separate. And like my art shack, which I miss so very, very freaking much, was that place where I didn't matter, and I could be messy, and I could close the door and it didn't matter if there were crumbs on the counter or shavings or whatever. I can come back and it didn't matter. And like, you have to allow yourself that. And that's really good that you allowed yourself that release, because the chaos, it just builds up, right? So
yeah. And plus
I know that's that zen. It's like you got to find that little piece of zen.
Yeah, it was allowing me the space to create an excuse as well, because I would say, well, I can't meditate when the house is messy and I don't feel like cleaning it right now. So it's just, it'll happen later. I'll do it later. I'll do it tonight. And then that would never happen. And, you know, all these things that we fall down these cycles. So yes, I meditated in a messy house today and I felt good about it. And I'm going to keep doing it every morning. But then I thought, well, lately you could just stay up super late and clean the house totally at night. And then when you wake up in the morning, it's pristine. I'm like, oh my God, no, you did not just say that to yourself. Go to bed. All right. So let's keep going. Let me just pick somebody randomly. Denise. So what?
Love Pixie over there in the corner is raising her hand.
Oh, she's raising her hand. Okay. Well, if we have
Love Pixie down there.
You're off the hook.
I know.
I gotta know why she's so smiley. So yeah, Joe, come on out here.
I know it says Love Pixie, and I can't figure out how to change it, because that's actually my burner name, and I have a medicine name now. So I want to share with you guys real quick what I did for New Year's. Instead of going to this big party where all my friends were going and all of that, I decided to do something more spiritual, because I wanted to bring in my New Year differently, and I wanted to create something different in my New Year. So I went up to Boulder, Colorado, which is a beautiful, beautiful place, up to this place called Hawks Cry Lodge. And we did these power objects. Oh, no. Uh-oh, my little birdie's gone. Anyway, it's got a whole bunch of stuff on it, but it all means something. And we went and talked to the trees, and we did this great ceremony thing, and then we ended the night with a purification ceremony in a sweat lodge. And we got to send out the energy to anybody, and I wanted you ladies to know that I sent you all the energy from in there. So this is my spirit thing, and so one of the things, and so it went along with what we were doing. So it was just kind of this whole little progression of yumminess that I got to do. And one of the cool things about it is they said, you know, don't talk about it to other people a lot, you know, for at least 7 days, because all of the things that I gave away and all those, you know, it takes time to percolate and kind of settle in. And so yeah, so I've been doing that. I've been sitting with that. But one of the things that I really realize is that I'm giving away or letting go is not having belief in myself. And, you know, it's like everyone on the outside, it looks like I'm very confident, and I am to some degree, but when it comes to my own personal stuff or doing something for me, then it seemed like, yeah, it was stopping me. And so I gave that away, and I also gave away everywhere where I was playing small. And so yeah, lots of cool things happening. I'm excited for this year. You know, I've had so many friends say, oh, I'm so glad 2016 was horrible. And I'm like, I'm thinking back to my year and I'm like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't perfect, but I don't look at it that way, I guess. I'm just more positive, and I look at it like it was just opportunities for me to grow and choose differently or learn something, or I don't know, something. And to me, it's all good. You know, I say it's a beautiful day every day, whether it's a blizzard out or the sun is shining, because it's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's me, and I just wanted to show you my cool little thing here that has all kinds of wonderful little things on it. And I took a selfie with my tree. So I went and picked a tree, and I was gonna leave, and the tree said, wait, let's take a selfie. So we took a selfie, and you know, but now, you know, the tree doesn't write, it doesn't call, I don't know.
It's funny that you say you went out and picked a tree, because when I first started working with one of my traditional teachers, his name is Black Bear, he told me, our first conversations was, he told me to go find my tree, and we're making this drum together, and he said, once you find your tree, then you'll know, you'll be able to take the next step to make this drum. And he's like, go out there and talk to the tree and listen and see which one talks back. And instantly I had this, like, as soon as he said your tree, it was like this feeling. I was like, oh, I know my tree. I know my tree. It's out on my family's farm. It's been there since I was little. I climbed it all the time. There's this awesome picture of all of the grandkids. There's like 11 grandkids in this tree, and it's just my tree. So I have this connection with a tree that you go out there, and I talk to the tree, and I've introduced B to the tree. I'm like, B, this is mommy's tree, and we talk to the tree. We tell it about what we're going to do there today. We're going to go feed the bunnies, or we're going to go check out the chickens. And so we've been building these connections, and it's something that has been so strong through all of my traditional teachings, is building these real relationships with what we would normally see as inanimate objects like a tree or a rock, but really seeing that there is an energy, there is a life source there. Even though we don't think of a rock as being alive, there is a power in that rock, that there's an energy, a connection that happens. And that's, in all of everything that I've been, that we try and learn as parents to do the right thing as parents. The one thing that I want is for my kids to be outside, is for my kids to want to be outside, to be connected to outside. Because when I see all these kids that are just so indoors, it's like you can almost feel the energy difference in how they're growing up. So that's definitely something. I'm glad that you found your tree and you took a selfie.
Yeah, it's called the flowering tree ceremony. And you go to the south, the west, the north, and the east, and you ask questions or whatever comes to you. One of the questions is, what is my heart hungry for this coming year? What is my body hungry for? What is my mind hungry for? And what is my spirit hungry for? And, it was pretty awesome.
I like that. We may have to borrow something like that. Okay, so let's keep moving on. I'll go to Denise, since I picked on her last time. As far as something you released from 2016, or something you felt like was holding you back that you were able to let go of in the exercises.
A lot of stuff. I started purging a lot as soon as we had our first session or stuff, and I private messaged Angel. And I was like, hey, I know you said to, get rid of stuff that, doesn't serve you and you don't want in your life. And I was like, I have so many stuff from my job. I used to work for a beer company. So I had hats, sweaters, shirts, everything you could possibly think of. And I was like, oh, I have so many t-shirts. I was like, oh, that could be pajamas, right? And I would never use it.
Oh my God, how many pajama t-shirts do we need?
Exactly. So she's like, yeah, release everything. So I literally had like 3 bags full of just work clothes. And literally, I need to go shopping because I have nothing. And it's so funny because I thought I got rid of everything. And then I found this one, which I wore. So, but it's serving a purpose because I was cold. So I put it on. But literally, this is like the only thing left. And I used to have hats and all the time. Or should see if you see all of my like pictures, I've always had like Budweiser, Bud Light, and stuff like that in my pictures because that's the company I work for. So I literally got rid of everything. And it was so funny. I think I mentioned to Angel, I was like, you know what? I think it was like my mattress. I was like, I've had that mattress since I was with my ex. And she's like, oh, you got to get rid of that. If you want a new partner, you have to get rid of that. So I literally went shopping for a mattress and it's going to come in next week. So I've been releasing so many stuff and it just feels good. I've been doing a lot of stuff like that. And I actually started my gratitude journal, and it's funny how you mentioned about it, like how, you know, you find a purpose to it. And I actually did a live video about it, and it's just like, I used to hear about it all the time, you know, do your gratitude, you know, journal and stuff like that. And I just didn't see the purpose of it. It just, you know, like Nikki said, I have to write it down and, you know, and it didn't see anything. And I just kind of started to do it after, I think their last talking circle where you structured it. And I was like, okay, that makes sense to me. And then I started noticing how, you know, a lot of stuff has been going on in my life that I've been wanting. And I would have gone to my days where I just wasn't feeling grateful. Like, I'm like, why am I feeling like this? You know, like I'm actually going through the journey that I've been wanting to go into. And I'm like, why am I not, you know, grateful for it? So that's when I started the gratitude journal. And it's really been really helpful. And you know, I guess like you say, like you need to actually be in tune with it and wanting to do it for it to work for you. So I've been doing a lot of that and it's been really great so far.
I know that Angel is, she has always been a big believer in the gratitude journal. And I can totally relate to, you know, that feeling of, oh, you know, it's kind of, I don't know, writing down what I'm grateful for every day. Like really, it's kind of cheesy. Like I have better things to do. I don't have time for that. All these things that we say to ourselves, but you're starting your day in that place of remembering, just putting focused energy on all of the things that you are grateful that you have. I mean, it just sets a totally different tone to your day. And something as small, or you might even think, well, I could just say it, or I could just think about it. I could just, you know, I don't know, just answer the question, what am I grateful for? But there's something powerful in this process of writing it down, not only for the act of writing it down, but also the act of reflection, right? So looking back, okay, these are the things that I struggled with. These are the things that I'm grateful for in moments that I can't remember what I'm grateful for. And just having that documentation of the journey is really powerful. So awesome. I'm so glad because there's actually like, it's almost like a two-part release to all of your clothes. Not only are you getting rid of clutter and like clearing space for new things to come into your life, like a new wardrobe that you actually like, and, you know, maybe an incentive to, because I know you're on a fitness journey to, you know, I'm not going to buy new clothes until I'm a size whatever, or something like that, setting these intentions to actually create change, but also releasing that part of your life because you're now job free. You're now able to walk away from that corporate job and just let it go. So, you know, let the swag go too. Awesome. So I'm going to go over to Heather. Now, Heather has been, if you guys haven't seen her, she's going through our video challenge now. So you probably see all her videos every day because she's awesome on camera too. But definitely wanted to get your feedback because you weren't able to go through the workshops live with us on Tuesday nights, but you did catch up on all the replays. So how's the process been for you in Replay Land?
In Replay Land, really good. First of all, because I'm proud of myself because sometimes I have the attention span of a flea. And so the length of it kind of overwhelmed me at first, but then I got so into it that I was just like, and it was, the first one was really epic. Like I sat there, I watched everything, I took notes, like I have like, and I'm a nerd when taking notes. I have like color-coded notes, purple, pink, blue, green for everything. So I took the notes and
color-coded gel pens. Oh yeah.
Yes. And so I had done smudging with sage and everything, and I've done the writing down and releasing, but I think I never was really, before I was never truly ready to, because I would release it and then 3 days later it would come back. And I knew about like the purging, and I'm just like, oh, I'll get to it. And what I suffer from is I got diagnosed, gosh, I'm going to be 42. I got diagnosed like 7, I've been depression since I was a teenager, but I was actually diagnosed like 15, 16 years ago with what they call midline. Like I was never suicidal. I was never out to hurt anybody or do harm, physical harm, like cutting or anything like that to myself. I went through something when I was 17, to get a little personal. When I was 17, I was date raped. And so I kept myself in this depression as a punishment because I felt like I did something wrong. And so I'm sorry. And so
It's okay.
for a lot of years, you know, that's just what I did. And like, you know, and I have a epically amazing husband who is, you know, and I put him through the ringer, but he's been so supportive, and we have 2 great kids. My son is 16, my daughter's 11, and she's like asleep next to me on the bed over here. And it's just, I just wrapped, instead of dealing with myself and healing myself, I wrapped myself up into them. And I wasn't even always good at that, but then I had to learn about I think about 3 or 4 years ago, I just started releasing it. I released the anger that I had toward who assaulted me, because I knew him. He was somebody I went to school with, and I still had to see for like, until I graduated almost. And in having trust in myself and in others and in the system that failed in handling the situation. And I had to learn that it wasn't my fault. And then I released that, but then there was still this feeling of not having a voice. And so, long story short, just going through this helped me realize that I do have a voice. And I had to learn how to find that voice even after my father died, because my father still did so much for me as an adult child in help and being a sounding board. That both my parents were married for 40 years up until my dad passed, but I lost that when I lost him, so everything re-internalized. And not that I don't talk to my husband, I talk to my husband too, but it was just, and I had to learn how to re-release, and I just got so sick of myself in 2016. And I came up on the end of the year, and there was so much loss from my mom's point of view with friends and family. And then in the beginning of December, my nephew, who's 28 years old, succumbed to an overdose. And so there was that. And that this shouldn't, it hit me hard. And I was like, why is it hitting me so hard? But like, I know he was my nephew and he's my sister's son, but it was because I just felt like he was my little brother. So it was just all this stuff, like I wasn't in his life enough. I failed him. What did I do? And I had to let go and release and stop feeling almost like that pity for myself that I did something wrong, and just know that I am okay as I am with what I do. I do what I can do for others, and if they don't reciprocate back, that's okay, because I'm just going to keep being me. I'm not going to maybe go, like, you know, hound them, but I'm just going to keep being me. And instead of chasing after people to get what I need, I have to break free and have my own voice and be heard. And just, if they're with me, they're with me. If they're not, bye. Like, you know, I spent so much time seeking out people that the first purge I did was on Facebook. I dropped 850 people in an hour and a half on Facebook. So that was the first thing. And that's going back with 5 years of connections back from when I was with ViSalus and everything else like that, which is where I first saw Layla with ViSalus. And
Live my life.
And Empower. And I dropped a lot. And not that there was anything wrong with them, but I'm like, who are these people? I haven't talked to them. So that was the first thing. I started decluttering a little bit, and then I stopped because the holidays came. But it felt so good. Those 3 days felt so good. And then it started up again, and I'm like, no. So then we did the smudging. I did the ceremony with like Aaron and everybody else like that, and we did all that. And I released so much stuff, and then it's just like, okay, I released all that. That feels good. And then now there's more stuff that's coming up, which is fine because it's like digging a hole. Like, you know, you've buried stuff for so long that you rip open the scab, and it's just going to keep. So I'm okay with that. So I'm writing stuff more down, and there are times I'll do something like that a couple times a week because I can't let it sit with me because it'll fester. So I'm doing that, and even now to the point where tonight I'm in my house, I'm sitting here listening to you guys telling me about your purge, and I'm like, man, I have a lot of crap to get rid of still. And I'm like thinking about my desk. My desk is a mess, and this is a mess, and that is a mess. And I'm like, I know it's not me. Before I do clearly everything with me being a mess, and I know it's not me. And I'm like, man, I don't have a whole lot, but I'm grateful for what I have. And so I'm like, but I can't keep holding on to shit because it's just holding me back. So, and I have a bookcase staring at me. I have so many books. I can't stand. I have my Kindle, but I'm just not a Kindle girl. I have books everywhere. And my daughter's like, well, Mommy, they're all in piles. It's not thrown everywhere. It looks all nice and neat. Look at Daddy's side of the room and look at yours. But, you know, it's stages. I look at stages. When I see the books, I see stages in my life. And I'm like, all right, maybe somebody else can use that. Or if not, I'll just, you know.
That's one thing really powerful that you bring up is the books, because I am really connected to my books as well. And, you know, I feel like everyone has been kind of like a friend to me in a moment where I needed it, where I learned, where I grew, where I became some version of myself from a book. Even like 50 Shades of Grey. Like I will not be afraid to admit that I got stuck in 50 Shades of Grey, but I do feel like it served me. Like I learned something about myself that I didn't know before, like this aggressive physical side, or, you know, maybe getting more in touch with my sexuality and being more demanding of what I wanted and what pleased me, and all these things that came from that book of me, like Toby losing me for 2 weeks to the book. But I still have them. And thinking now, I'm like, you know, maybe like you said, there's someone that I know that's going through what I was going through, or that needs to experience that as well, or needs to unlock that, or needs to learn that could benefit. And it's just sitting on my shelf. Like it's just sitting there. It's not doing anything. And it's not helping anyone anymore. And I'm just holding on to it because of a moment I had with it. But, you know, that's really opens up my perspective on, oh, you know, there probably is somebody that I know that could really use this book. And I'm just like selfishly allowing it to collect dust on the shelf, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I do. I've actually given the books to a friend of mine. I've sent her a box of books, so I might do that again, because I don't really share any of the stuff with my family, because my family just wouldn't get half the books I have. The level of judgment that they have is what also closes me in, because they see me as, I'm the youngest of 6. It was a blended family. So between me and the one right above me is 8 years. Between me and the maximum, which is my mom's oldest, is 14. So I kind of was like the youngest of 6, but almost like an only child, because I'm the only one my parents had together. But there's always so much drama here, drama there, going on with this one's life, that one's life, the bad relationships, that I kind of put so much pressure on myself. And then I ramble like I can, or I talk loud, or I talk fast, because I had to be heard. And then I ended up being ignored, not out of rudeness, but out of life. And so even to this day, I go to have a conversation, and one of my sisters will automatically talk over me, and my mom will talk over me. And I just, you know, and then when I see you ladies, and I can actually talk and listen, it's just like, you know, and then I end up feeling guilty, because I'm like, am I a horrible sister or daughter because I don't want to talk to my family? But sometimes I just can't, because it's just this level of negativity that even comes to the phone that I can't handle, so I don't. And then I feel like I get labeled like the bad guy because I can't. And I had to explain that to my mom, and she understands, because she's just like, I can't handle it either anymore. She's like, I'm 75 years old, and it's just getting to me. I kind of talked to her about little things, and because years ago, I was born and raised Catholic, but years ago she was into yoga and studying yoga and the philosophies. So she still carries some of that with her. So I'll talk to her I'll say prayer, and she goes, and she has her prayers that she does, and I'll say, but Mom, you need like meditation, like quiet, center yourself. And Elise says, do you remember your like what you practice in yoga? And she'll be like, yeah. And we start talking about that, and then she's just like, wow, you just calm me down. And I'm like, wow. And then I don't know, just through talking to people, like I'm a life coach, and sometimes I'm like, well, why am I a life coach? 'Cause I feel like my life's not together, but people tell me I help them, or they're like, you are what you say you want to be already, and you just don't know it. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and everything. It's
and I'm
just that's okay. That's okay. It's all about. I think the lady. If you check out the chat, the ladies were giving you some love as you were going through. But yeah, it can be overwhelming to everything that you were saying. I could pick up these points of, okay, well, that's definitely where some underlying issues have come from, of feeling like your voice doesn't really matter, or that it's not going to make a difference anyways, or it has no power, or it has no value, and going through that whole journey that you've went through. But now to see that there are cracks in these foundations, in the people that we think are so rigid, and people in our family, people in our surrounding circle. I don't say focus time on changing people, but there are ways that we can just open people up to some different ideas and how you feel, things that you're doing, things that are important to you, and forcing almost these conversations. And I think that that's one of the most powerful things that you can do this year, is to really create more conversations in your life, to create more dialogue with the people that we are connected to, because we can't always say, well, I don't connect with my family. They don't understand me, or they don't hear me, when we have labeled that for so long that we've pretty much stopped trying. So, having that perspective of, things can change, and we can be the change, right? We can ignite that in them. And I'm just seeing like trickling effects of some of the things that I do, some of the mindset and the trainings that I do. I start to see it affect my family little bit by little bit. And I try not to put too much pressure on it. Like you said, being a life coach, or, I'm like, well, how can I work with so many people, but I can't even fix my little sister. Like I can't even get it through her head to believe in herself, or to see how beautiful she is. I'm failing, and we put pressure on ourselves to take ownership of that. So really leading, I've come to the terms that the best way for me to help anyone in my family is by creating this epic life for me, where I'm ultimately happy, where I live in confidence and belief in myself, and that they want that, and they come to me. So Sophia, I saw you nodding there. With Heather's story, especially with, I know that we've been talking about some of the struggles that you've been having with people around you and your network and your connections, and releasing that, releasing.
Exactly. And listening to Heather, I totally can relate, because I went through years of dealing with issues with my sister. And I had to come to terms with myself and understand that family is born, in a sense wherein they have to love you because they're your sisters and brothers. You don't learn to love your sisters and brothers. It's an act that you normally do. You basically, for instance, you ladies in this Women's Connection group, we value each other. We love each other unconditionally. When you're a relative of someone, you don't get this. You're born into it. So there's nothing to really, it's hard to explain it, but they're not born to love you. They have to love you because they're your relative. And I had to understand that no one teaches you how to love your sister. No one teaches you to respect who you are and what you are. Because I had issues with my sister, and because the fact that she didn't accept me for who I was. Okay, for no apparent reason, I still to this day don't understand. And I really still don't have a relationship with my sister, because when it comes to that point, I have to understand that I have to love her regardless of what she feels about me. So I learned to get over that. But getting back to me purging, I didn't realize I was purging about a year ago before I relocated to Georgia. When it was time for us to go, I was just so fed up with this little box house we were in. I got rid of everything. I blessed families with hundreds of clothes, shoes, and everything. I randomly saw this lady in Kmart. She was pregnant. And I was like, well, I don't want to ask her, but are you pregnant? And she said, yeah. I said, well, I'm about to relocate. Can you tell me what you're having? She says, a girl. I said, thank you, God. I had massive baby clothes that I blessed this young lady with. I gave her swings. I gave her those little walkers, like everything that you can possibly think of for her newborn baby to come in this world, and she didn't have to buy anything. I delivered this stuff to her in the rain. And she was so happy that I gave her these things. She just started crying. She was like, oh my God, you were heaven sent. And not only that, she lived a couple of blocks from me at that point, but she was working in 2 towns over. It was just so ironic. And when I got here to Georgia, I didn't realize that I got rid of everything. I didn't know I started this process already until after I joined the Women's Connection and realized that this is something I've been doing all along, and I didn't know it. But I still had a lot of cleansing to do. So when we got here, I got into another type of depression, and leaving from New York, having my own business, to moving here, not knowing what in the world am I going to do. That has to be the hardest thing for anyone to do. So when I got here, I worked a few jobs, and right now I'm working as a teacher. Mind you, I have no idea. I believe I'm in this place to teach me a little more, more about myself, because I can be impatient at times. I knew I needed to work on my relationship with my kids a little bit, because sometimes I was so tired I would like snap at them. Even though this wasn't the ideal job for me, I gained a lot of experience from it, because those are areas that I needed to work on and I just didn't know how. And then all the same, it's not the ideal 9-to-5 that I want to do, but to make a long story short, all of that cleansing with the Women's Connection, zeroing me onto the more issues that was more important to me. Oh my goodness. By the time January 1st rolled around, I went to the mailbox and I had this big old check in there. Okay. I went and bought myself a new laptop. I bought myself a new phone. I even made a big investment that my husband and I are just so freaking excited about. He's on the computer all day, setting us up. When I tell you purging works, it works like you would not believe. And I'm so excited that I really don't show the excitement, because I want to remain humble. I don't want anything to get to my head. And my daughter's so funny. She said to me, Mom, how come you don't get excited about all of this stuff that's happening to you? And I said to her, it's no reason for me to get overly excited, because I don't want to get out of place. I don't want to think that I'm better than anybody because of all of these blessings that's flowing to me. And it's amazing. I found a church, and my husband and I took a development course wherein we took this test, and it showed us what our personality traits are. And oh my goodness, January 1st, I cannot sit here and lie. It was the best beginning of the new year I've ever had in my entire life. And on top of that, I took a week off of work. Oh my goodness, that was the best move I made. I slept the new year in because I didn't know I was so tired. And when I tell you I'm excited about my new business adventure, my husband and I, our relationship is much tighter. My kids are happier. And the fact that I have an updated cell phone, that's enough to be happy right there. So, oh my goodness, ladies, I love all of you, because Layla, I'm telling you, I admire you so much. You just really have no idea how much I admire you and all the other ladies. I can't even name all of y'all because I don't want to mess up, but I am grateful for all of you ladies. You are my sisters. And oh my goodness, thank you. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh gosh, doesn't that just make you like, I don't know, it just feels so good. It feels so good to see the smile. Like I said, the smiles on your faces. It's this place of, you know where you are. You're in touch with yourself. And so many people right now are lost. And I think of the people that just don't know who they are. They don't know where they're going. They don't have an idea. They're so wrapped up in worry and anxiety and stress and fear that they don't have a clue who they are. And it's like, wow, so we started small, but now we got a really big mission, because these experiences, these changes, this shift in happiness and fulfillment and love and blessings in your life that have been happening, it's something that we have the power to, all those people that are lost, all those women that are still struggling and I know some of them personally, and I'm just like, I'm trying to drag them kicking and screaming, but some of my friends and family have like this wall up on what I do, and they're like, no, that's your thing, Layla. That's not something I would do. But I'm like, dude, you are depressed. You have to let this stuff go. You are stuck in negativity. This is exactly what you need. Forget MLM or network marketing or whatever the heck you think it is. This is about you. And so when I have those conversations, I'm hoping, I've had a few that are coming slowly, but yeah, so it just validates for me that, the shift that's happened in Sophia, if it hadn't happened, where would she be? If she was still stuck with all of that garbage, looking at Nikki, if she was still stuck thinking that her voice didn't matter, thinking that she couldn't connect with people, that people weren't going to listen, that they weren't going to resonate with her, where would she be? She wouldn't be out there sharing her story. It's just, it's amazing to realize the true gift that a real connection can create. And we have that all right here. So amazing. I love it. Thank you. Now, I totally didn't even mean to keep you till last, Erin, because, okay, so she's been sitting here for an hour and 20 minutes with a migraine, and she told me she wasn't going to be here. She's like, I can't make it. I have a migraine. And then lo and behold, she's like one of the first ones here, been here the whole time, as usual. So I don't know if you want to speak, but I'm sure you do, because you're on this road to shifting and having transformations in your life as well. So what for you, if you want to share, if you can speak, if your head's not hurting too bad, what for you was a major thing that you released in 2016 through some of these processes?
One thing that really came clear to me, and it becomes even clearer through the new year and through my headaches, is this dangerous, destructive path I've been on with men. And not being, Heather, just like you, I was 15 when I was date raped, and again in college. So I really shut down, and then I really don't trust, and I didn't trust women to begin with. So then not trusting men is just like, okay, we'll give up on the human race pretty much. And I've, because of the women's connection, I've really learned to trust and respect women. And I think I'm more of a cheerleader for women now than I ever have been. But realizing that it's time to release all the pain, all the hurt, knowing I wasn't perfect, it wasn't my fault, knowing a lot of the messages I was given, I fully take my responsibility in that I accepted them and I owned them. After they were given to me, I decided to take them on. So now it's time I'm giving them back to the universe and saying, no, it doesn't fit me anymore. This isn't me. This is not who God intended me to be. And I use God freely, as my accountability group knows. So that was something that was really, very productive for me, because I spent last year, one of my goals was I was going to date. I was going to date, start dating the second quarter. I didn't. I didn't date the third quarter. I didn't date the fourth quarter. So I just decided, what happens is going to happen, but I have to get back out there, and I have to do it in a healthy manner, and trust that I'm going to meet that healthy, happy individual that supports me and loves me unconditionally. And I know that I'll find him. So that's really what I released and brought into my life this year. So at least I'm hoping to bring into my life this year.
I really think that, first of all, I think a lot of women that end up watching this replay or maybe are listening right now can relate to that lack of trust. And, you've been hurt in the past by whatever situation has hurt you. And we have this protection, and we want to protect ourselves. I get a lot of, I don't know why I guess I get a lot of relationship questions because, people see Toby and I as having a strong relationship now. I mean, as strong as it can be, there are still moments we have had we've had our days. But when it comes to relationships, I feel like our toughest moments for me and Toby were when I felt like it was him that was making me happy. And I was happy because I had found him. I was happy because I had this love. I had this my brave heart that I had been dreaming of my whole life was real. And that's what made me happy. And for a while I was really happy, but then, as the time goes on, you realize, wait a second, that's not really happy. And inside, under the bubble of romance and love and soulmates, I'm still not really happy. And so that for me was a big shift in realizing, I totally, Angel and she was talking about putting intentions out to, find the love of your life and all of these different things that you can do, but really having that mentality of, I am happy. I'm happy until that moment, and even I know it will happen. I know I will find that man that compliments me, that brings out the best in me, that loves me unconditionally. But up until that moment, it won't be a lack. It won't be I'm living in lack until, or I will be happy when. And having that mindset of happiness now, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So Angel, I just kind of wanted you to speak, because this is something that we have talked about before. And I'm sure there's so many women out there that have this intention for 2017. You want to bring love into your life, or, you want to bring a spouse or a partner to you that compliments you, or that makes you happy. So what would be some of your advice, Angel, for women that have that intention for 2017?
Okay. I was just typing something.
The love guru.
I became the love guru here. Well, it's funny because my husband and we met online, and I think back in high school, I had this intention that I don't want to get married. So I'd go to churches where people will say, oh, this church brings miracles or has miracles, everything. You pray there and your prayer will be answered. So I'll go there and say, oh, dear God, if I am destined to be married, can you please undo that? I want to stay single. It's because of what happened. And growing up, I saw my dad and how my mom suffered. I said, if marriage is like this, I don't want to be anymore. And with the abuse that we experience and everything, that's one of the things, right? But then I realized that there's always a bigger plan for us. And to me, being married And there's challenges and everything, but what I learned is that even though that's not what I want to happen, I'm married, and God showed me that I was wrong for not wanting to be married by giving me a man that is the exact opposite of what I'm scared about. I'm scared of that I might experience what my mom experienced of my dad being the womanizer and abusing us in everything. I get the husband that's the total opposite of that. And he helps me with everything. Now, when it comes to love, at that time, I keep on looking back at that experience where how did we really ended up being together? I'm in Rome, my husband's here in Canada. To me, that is the greatest manifestation or work of law of attraction. Because at that time, I guess that's really God working the plan. And when we met at the time, I got so focused. We both get so focused on each other. We're always happy. We're talking. We ended up getting to know each other and everything. Like emails, just to get to know everybody, each other, sharing everything. There's pretty much no secret at that point. And then when we decided, or he decided to visit me in Rome, I'm like, okay, is this really for real? And my friend said that, do you really believe he's going to visit you? That's Canada and Rome. That's going to cost a lot of money. And there's about 3 of them that's so negative and never believed that he's going to visit me. And he did came, so he proved them wrong. But when it comes to love, what I learned is, and as Lena said, I told her to intend it, right? Our words creates. So you want to manifest a partner, someone that has everything that you want. Write it. You know about vision board? You should have a list of everything that you want to have in a partner. Make sure that you don't forget anything. Always keep on coming back on that list and keep on adding what you can think of. Or if you find a picture, maybe you'll find a picture, let's say, oh, I like Keanu Reeves. I'll put Keanu Reeves' picture there. You think you're really gonna find another Keanu Reeves? Might not, right? But it's what you want from that person. Write a list of that. I have a mentor. She said she didn't believe in that when someone told her to make a list. And she said, okay, I'll make a list. But she forgot some of the things in there. And then she decided, okay, you know what happened? The person that she's married with right now is their high school classmates before. They didn't realize they were soulmates. And so that list will help you. It's like a vision board. If you're putting all your dreams in your vision board, this is the same thing, but this time, put a list in there. And in your house, make sure your bedroom, is your bed a queen bed? And do you sleep in the middle or do you sleep on one side? Your garage, your parking garage. If it's a 2-car garage, where do you park? Are you parking in the middle? Because if you are, then you're not open to have that person come in your life. And also watch how you say the words about the partner. Oh, I don't really believe in a soulmate. I don't really believe that I'm going to have this person, that I deserve to have this loving person in my life, right? You might be canceling out that intention that you're saying. And when
didn't you say something about cleaning out half your closet, or somebody cleaned out half their closet? I remember this story.
Clean your closet. Make sure that your closet has a space for your man. If your closet is packed of clothes, guess what? That's why that ideal man hasn't come yet. There's always 2 lamps on the side table in your bedroom. Your set of dishes, there should always be 2 sets. If it's only one, well, I'm single. What's the point of having 2, right? That's your intention, telling universe, I'm ready for that ideal man. Send that ideal man to me now. With all this list, this is the list of the person I want. You can also make a list of what you don't want and then burn that because you don't want that.
Burn, baby, burn. I love it.
We were just joking. I have a friend, and we did this. It was 2014. with the list. And I told her everything that I'm saying to you right now. And she said, okay, what the heck? I'm going to do everything you said. And then the list of what she doesn't want, burn it. And then the list of what she wants, and that's posted by her bed so that she sees that every time. And I said, also, you want to meet that person, you got to get out there. You got to go out. Or you can be also in Facebook or whatever you want. You can be online dating sites as well, but you just have to be careful. She met that person that has all her list in a bar. She doesn't go in a bar. She was pulled to a bar. So let's go. Stop being in your house. And the person that she met, they're married right now. And she said, oh my gosh, that guy has all the list that I made. So make a list.
There you go. Make a list. Write it out. Write it down. Mary Lou, we haven't heard from you. I've seen you there. And I did want to hear from you and kind of just share some of your feelings of this transition into 2017 and, maybe some things that you released that were holding you back.
Well, can you hear me?
Yes. Yep, we could. And then, there you go. You're good.
Okay. Hey, I'm outside. We're staying in a hotel in South Florida, so I'm outside in the dark. But I've really learned a lot listening to you ladies tonight. And I'm working on releasing some pounds, and I'm also working on releasing self-sabotage and procrastination. So, and I'm not at home now, so there's a lot of things that I need to release from there. But as soon as we get back home, that's what I'm going to be working on.
The weight loss goal is one that, I think, I don't know, there's a woman out there that doesn't deal with some sort of body image issues of, okay, I want to change this, but losing weight is definitely one of the ones that, really seems to be challenging for us and really gets us. And I was sharing today just one little shift in perspective for losing weight in 2017. And it's, we set a goal of, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to lose 10 pounds, or I want to lose 5 pounds. And you can even be as specific to say, I want to lose 10 pounds by my birthday. And you're like, okay, I made it really specific. It's achievable. It's attainable. There's time limit, all these things that I'm supposed to do with my goals. But when you can actually set your goals to behavioral actions, right? So behavioral actions. So thinking, what do I need to do to hit that goal? What are the behaviors that I need to take every day to hit that goal? And set those as your intention. So I don't intend to lose 10 pounds. I intend to work out 3 times a day. I don't intend to lose 10 pounds. I intend to eliminate sugar from my diet. And just really thinking, okay, what are the behaviors that are going to happen? Because it's really easy for us to generalize and say, hey, I want to lose weight. But then like we have been saying for the last couple of weeks, that set it and forget it. Okay, I know I want to lose weight. I've always wanted to lose weight. I've been feeling like that my whole life, right? Like I feel like I should have lost weight my whole life. So that's a feeling that is pretty common for me, is like repeating pattern of losing weight. I need to lose weight, I gain it back. I need to lose weight, I gain it back. So rather than setting that same old goal, rather than saying that same old thing that I've said for the last 20 or 30 years I am, for the last however many years, I'm going to set new goals. I'm going to say something different. I'm going to change my routine. I'm going to change my pattern. I'm going to change my behavior, and then in the end get a better result. So first of all, but another thing, I kind of noticed that you put a lot of pressure on all these things that you have to go home and do. So, allow it to be a cleansing process, something that you are actually excited to do. You're excited to go home and clean your office. You're excited to, organize your apps on your phone and clean out your Gmail garbage. You're excited for this because you know what it's going to bring. You know how it's going to open up that space for you, because so often we put, I know that I've been putting off my attic, clearing out my attic forever, and there's so much stuff in there. There's boxes, there's like random things, and really saying, okay, are we creating a negative association to this action that we want to take, or is there a positive to this? Can we focus on what it will create when we've done it, and how it will make us feel, and how, the benefits of that. So yes, don't put too much pressure. It looks like you're enjoy the hotel, enjoy the complimentary breakfast, and just don't stay up too late tonight thinking about all the things you have to do when you get home.
No, and I have a different outlook on it at it already, just from listening to everybody tonight. And it feels more exciting, and it's something that I'm looking forward to rather than dreading. And I'm just making it a goal to take better care of myself and be more active. Awesome. And not put a pressure on me, because I've always wanted to lose weight, just like you said. So.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that the more there's this power in all of us having this connection of making these shifts, seeing it in each other, seeing week after week the evolution, like seeing the barriers come down, and the freedom in the women that we're connected with, and all of you women together. There is this power in going through this process together and not doing it alone. And there's a power. I mean, I'm just telling you, if you tried to do all this stuff by yourself, it wouldn't have the same effect. So if you are watching this and you haven't gone through our workshop yet, this is your chance. This is your chance. You can catch up in one night. One night, you could be all caught up. You could go through both sessions and be ready to go for next week. And really...
Can I tell you a story, a really quick story? Because you asked me about the coaching thing before, and you caught me off guard. But as I've been sitting here, and Elena's not here, I'm sorry Elena's not here, because I wanted to just, and this speaks to exactly what you were just talking about. So it just kind of bubbled up, which is, so we were starting our purge, and Elena kind of like blew in like a tornado and was like, oh my God, I'm not going to believe what just happened. And so it turned out she had lost one of her credit cards. And if you watch the replay, you'll see this whole thing unfold. And she decided she had to rip apart her whole entire house to find it. Of course, you know how you get in that panic and you can't do anything until you figure out what happened to it. So the good news is that she found it. But the interesting part was that it was right as we were about to do this burn, the sage purge, the rituals. And there was a moment where she was really overwhelmed about sort of what had just gone on in her house. And she was like kind of really hyped up about it. And she was like, she kind of was like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to do it right now. I'm just going to follow along, and I'll do it later. And I was like, oh, no, you're not. And I was like, if Layla was here right now, she would not be having any of this at all. And I said,
on the spectator split.
and here's the coaching part, because she was really like she was swimming through this moment, like just mucky moment of all this shit, her house was a freaking wreck. And then I was like, girl, don't you see the serendipity? Don't you see the moment just right in front of you right now? Don't you see what's happening? She was too muddled in it, and she couldn't see it. And I opened the door and I said, girl, you just gave yourself the moment to have a cleansing ritual, to absolutely clear away all the crap that is going on right now. And you were given that moment in time, some reason. Somebody just shook it all up and said, it's got to happen now. And she's like, she couldn't even focus on what we were doing. She wanted to go start purging and organizing and because it came upon her in this flood of moment. Okay, but we're doing this ritual right now. And neither her or Anna, who's also not here, had written out their thing. And I was like, both you girls are paper out, pen now. And I was like, now. And the two of them just, and I said, as I'm talking and as we're prepping, because we were prepping and then we were going to record, you know what I mean? And so I was like, get it going on, girls. And I was like, here's my paper. We're doing this now. We're doing this now. Get your bowl of water, get your receptacle back in. And I was like, and we all did it. And then we like reflected on it. And then she had so much change in her whole demeanor just right then, and she just shifted. It just all shifted right then. And it was like, you know, it was just one of those coaching moments, I guess, where, you know, we just took the moment, but then afterwards, you know, she really realized that it was so amazing that now she could really dive into this with a clear head and swim through it and be more head above water, and she was feeling really good. So I think that it's like with Mary Lou, you want that time to happen, and it's going to organically just like because with this group, things doors just open, things happen, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because Elena, if anyone reminds me of you, Lisa, sometimes Elena reminds me of you. So she's a personal friend of mine. Actually, she's a friend of my mom's. And she
told me the whole story.
Yeah, so she's a friend of my mom's. Like, they were high school friends, bad girls together. But yeah, so she's been following me for a long time, joined a couple of things that I did online, but never, always had excuses. Always had a million things going on, so busy.
And see, I caught her right in that excuse, right at the moment when she needed the courage, she needed the burn, right then. And I was like, this is it right now, we're doing it, you know.
And it's crazy, like something like that can be right in front of you that you need in your life, but we still, like you said, we don't see it because we're stuck in our patterns and our behaviors that we've carried around. And so I'm really glad that you didn't let her excuse herself out of that, because I totally had a feeling she was going to try. Anyways, so yeah, I love these. I don't know if you can, if people get to see the chat in the replay. I'm not really sure about that. But I love reading your comments here. And Norva, hey Norva, I know your camera's not on, but she said that knowing that I'm not alone is huge for me. And it's been a big shift over the last couple of weeks. And I think that is one of the underlying, just the underlying power and force behind the Women's Connection is that, no matter, it's like seeing yourself in someone you would never imagine seeing yourself in before. And that simple process just opens you up to start seeing everything differently. When you can relate to someone's story who you wouldn't even have given a glance at, walking down the street or connecting with at the grocery store or something like that, and suddenly you're like, wait, they have been through that and I have been through that. And we're going through this, and this is something that connects us and brings us all together. There's a power in it that is underlying all of the exercises and the accountability groups and the workshops and the trainings and the live streams and all that, underlying this power to expand our awareness of who we are and our ability to connect with each other so that we are not alone, so that we can form these connections, because too many of us have fear. Too many of us, struggle with trust or our own insecurities of the women brawls in our life, and just seeing this place of openness, it really does just makes me happy, makes me so happy. So anyways, it's almost been 2 hours. I said this talking circle was going to be an hour. I'm like, it'll be an hour, we'll just be in and out because we've all done it. We're just going to talk about our what I should have known. But yeah, so that's kind of what happens under Talking Circles. Make sure that you don't miss our next live one so that we can meet you. It's not a scary place. It's an awesome place where, you want to get connected with these women. You want to share your story because it does matter, and it matters to us. So thank you so much, ladies. Next week, we are crushing out putting an action plan in place for 2017 so that we can stay organized, so that we can be on track, so that we can keep ourselves accountable, so that we can have checkpoints, so that we can, I even want you to schedule meetings with yourself, and that's what we're going to be doing. So definitely don't miss next week, next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel, for our session 3 of the New Year, New You workshop. And if you haven't got any of it and you've totally missed out, then don't worry, because you have 7 days to catch up, and you can get into your elite membership. It's free right now for the next 30 days, so you can crush it out and get all this amazing content and plug in with these women right now. All right, ladies, that's a wrap. Love you.
Love
You're
you.
awesome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, I've been screenshotting you the whole time. You didn't even know.
Oh.
Okay, let's do one before we go. Let's do it. Okay, everybody got their screenshot face on. Cat and Romeo and Norva look kind of frozen, but I got it.
That's why I made sure I had my smile on there.
Awesome. All right, ladies. Love you. Appreciate you.
Bye.
And we'll see you on Facebook.